Hello Voyagers, I'm Michael, CEO and one of the co-founders at Treehouse Games. These are our brand new patch notes as we're about to make our first big update to the Steam demo build. So since the demo went live in December, we've had over 20,000 people play the game, which is amazing. Thank you all so much for playing, for sharing your clips and your feedback. Obviously, it's super fun for us. We love watching people have fun with the game. But also that feedback is absolutely huge for helping us make the game better and better. A huge amount of the development that we've been doing over the last couple months has been driven by your feedback and some of the very top issues from that feature upvote board. So let's start talking about the changes because there are a lot of them. Hunger was a major pain point for a lot of people from the demo, feeling like you constantly needed to eat or you were always starving if you stepped away for even a second. We have completely redone the hunger system. You still benefit from being well fed. It's okay to ignore for a minute if you want to AFK or if you want to focus on crafting or base building for a while. So you no longer take damage from hunger. Instead, as you become hungry, you will have reduced max health, stamina, and oxygen levels. Also, eating cooked food provides you with a short healing buff over time that stacks in duration. So if you prepare food, then you can use it to top off on health while you're out on the adventure. We're still continuing to tweak here, so we would love to get your feedback. We've also made a bunch of changes to combat and enemy behavior. So a lot of players brought up issues with targeting enemies where your attacks would sometimes feel like they should hit but miss or carry you past your enemies. So we've implemented a motion warping system so that you'll move toward your enemies if you're just outside of melee range and not overextend, so while you're attacking, you won't be carried past them while the animations still look cool. Enemies also had some funky behavior that we wanted to improve. They now leash a lot more predictably and drop aggro more consistently when you're running away. Also, one of the worst experiences was enemies respawning right on top of you, especially right as it hit nighttime. We've changed that behavior. Enemies no longer respawn in your face when you're running around at night. One of the top requests from the feature upvote board was to add a time of day clock and the ability to sleep through the night. Both of those are now in the game. Look in the lower left to find the clock, and when all players are sleeping on a bedroll, it will transition to sunrise. Also, nighttime is a bit shorter now, and not as pitch black darkness as before. Next, UI and crafting. So we saw a ton of confusion about how refiners worked, how fuel worked. It was a problem that every player we watched on stream would run into over and over, really painful to see over and over again. So we've removed fuel across the board. We've also changed a lot of the inventory management and streamlined a lot of the UI overall, so it works much closer to what you'd expect. We also added crafting queues, so you can set up a string of crafts and then come back and see them all completed. Another big feature we added was keybinding. So a ton of players were looking for keybinding functionality, especially from players outside of the US. We underestimated how much international interest we were already going to get, and how hard it is to play the game on non-QWERTY keyboards. Put a lot of effort here. You can now set up key binding. I hope that makes it easier to play for a lot of people. Please let us know what you think. We're still actively polishing this feature. There were also a whole bunch of other changes that I'm just gonna go through more quickly because otherwise this video is gonna take forever. So we added an unstuck option called emergency recall, where you can go back to your spawn point without losing your stuff. We don't want players using it as a new fast travel, so it's only usable once per game session. Networked play for gathering and interacting with your inventory is now a lot more polished. If you're not the host, it's going to feel a lot more responsive for you. We also made a ton of visual improvements to the game. There are wind and dust particles through the sky. By the water, you'll see sea foam, bubbles underneath the waves, a new underwater gathering animation, seaweed and grass and other decoration under the waves. Also, hair and cloth physics are in. So long hair is back. Your loincloths and skirts are gonna look really cool as you're running around chopping down trees. The character creator is now at the start of the game flow, and no more starving when you're just trying to make your character look cool. It all starts before the game actually gets going. We've also been crushing a lot of bugs, dozens and dozens of them, so thank you so much for all the feedback you've been giving us. If you want to see the whole list, you can click on the patch notes links below. If you want to help playtest, we actually playtest with our Discord community even more frequently than we're going to be updating the Steam build, every 2 weeks actually. So if you join our Discord, there's a link to sign up for the early playtest group. And we'd love to get your feedback on things that are even more work in progress and sometimes buggy, but still at a point where we would really love the feedback. So the new patch is live on Steam right now. So go check it out, bring in your friends. We can't wait to hear your feedback. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the waves.